Hello there and welcome to CoreTV News on the Hour with me, Sabena Izuku. Workers at the presidential villa Abuja has reported for duties early in readiness to formally receive Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osibanjo. Following the inauguration ceremony on Friday, the duo is expected to resume their offices officially for the first time today. There were speculations that with his President Buhari's disciplined posture, he might want to take workers unawares by reporting to work early. As at the time of filing this report, Buhari and Osibanjo are yet to arrive at the presidential villa. Both are, however, yet to relocate to their official residence in the villa. President Muhammadu Buhari has announced the first set of appointments into his administration with immediate effect. The president this evening named Femi Adesina and Garba Shehu as being his spokesman. Femi Adesina will serve as Special Advisor, Media and Publicity, while Garba Shehu will be the new Special Assistant, Media and Publicity. The president has also approved the appointment of Lawal Abdullahi Kazawi as the State Chief of Protocol, SCOP. Then Adesina is the current president of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, NGE, and serves as the Managing Director, Editor-in-Chief of the Sun newspapers. Garba Shehu served as the Director, Media and Communications to the APC presidential campaign. He has also served as the President of the Guild of Editors 16 years ago. Abdullahi Kazari is a career foreign service official and currently serves in Asu Rock Villa as a special assistant presidential martyrs. Ijaw youths under the auspices of the Ijaw Youth Council worldwide have faltered President Muhammadu Buhari for the December deadline set for the termination of the presidential amnesty program for ex-Niger militants. The Ijaw Youth Council claims, though the Niger Delta people have expected that the amnesty program will have a terminal date, the decision by the Buhari to terminate the program should include a laid-out plan to clean up the Niger Delta environment. It also said such termination should take into consideration the implementation of the nation's Environment Protection Report on Ogoni, as well as tackle the menace of oil theft in the region. The Ijaw Youth Council, in a statement by its spokesperson, Eric Omari, says the council appreciates the fact that the amnesty program could not continue forever and therefore must have a terminal date. The statement reads, however, the question on the lips of the beneficiaries and the stakeholders in the Niger Delta region are what will happen to those that have not been trained as of December 2015 and those still undergoing training or have not completed their training. The termination of the program will throw up challenges for beneficiaries of the program who are still undergoing training and are at different levels of their training. The Ijaw Youth Council expects the federal government to address the fears of these classes as ex-agitators who are in different parts of the world and are worried that their training may be affected if the program is terminated in December 2015. The group says it had expected President Muhammadu Buhari to address issues such as cleaning up the Niger Delta environment, implementation of the UNEP report on Ogoni, and tackling the menace of oil theft, which had greatly contributed to the environmental degradation in the Niger Delta. The chairman of the Fika local government area of Yobe State, Baba Abare, on Sunday told journalists that the Boko Haram sects attacked two Yobe towns, Fika and Ingalda. Abare said the militants shot sporadically at the two towns to scare away people so as to have ample opportunity to loot. He explained that the major targets of the militants were shops in which they looted several food items as well as beverages, saying, however, that no life was lost during the attack. He said they proceeded from Ingalda to Fika town, the headquarters of Fika local government area of Yobe State. Mohammed said during the assault on Fika, the terrorists burnt down the local government secretariat, the magistrate court and divisional police station. A policeman who spoke on the condition of anonymity, too, said the attackers invaded the town between 7:30 and 9 a.m., looting several shops and carted away with several food items. He added that the militants stormed the areas in two Toyota Hilux vans and took away several motorcycles and still in the area. The Yoruba State Police Commissioner Marcus Delandi declined to comment on the attack, saying the military joint task force was the only body that was authorized to speak on such matters. Fika and Ingaldal communities have suffered several cases of Boko Haram attacks since the commencement of sex violence campaign, as the communities also share boundaries with Guja and Gulani local government areas, which under the captivity of the militant group for so long before it was liberated a few months back by the federal troops. An improvised explosive device believed to be planted by suspected members of the Boko Haram sect has exploded at the popular market, Amburu market, in Maiduguri, leaving 4 persons critically injured, and a member of the youth vigilante group in town, Abamodu, confirmed this. In the last 48 hours, Borno State capital has come under attack of the terrorists, and no fewer than 3 occasions. On Saturday morning, the insurgents were repelled by the military when an attempt was made to invade the town. It was gathered that 16 persons were killed in that attack. On Saturday afternoon, a mosque located at the main market in the town, Monday Market, was attacked by suicide bombers, during which 26 persons were reportedly killed and 28 others injured. The attack on Gamboro Market, according to Mudu, happened at about 1:30 p.m. This is said caused pandemonium in parts of the town as people hurriedly locked up their shops and fled for safety while the streets were also deserted. Gamboro Market is one of the markets in the city that has witnessed series of deadly attacks by the insurgents in the recent past. The Nigerian and Egyptian militaries are to partner on intelligence sharing and training to combat the threat of the Boko Haram and Islamic State Iraq and Syria terrorists in 2 countries. The Egyptian Foreign Affairs Minister, Sameh Shoukry, who said this in an interview with journalists in Abuja on Saturday, stated that President Muhammadu Buhari would soon visit Cairo for talks on military and bilateral relations between Egypt and Nigeria. According to him, Nigerian and Egyptian militaries will collaborate and work together to degrade the capabilities of 2 terrorist organizations and end the security crisis in North and West Africa. Minister observed that Boko Haram and ISIS have the same objectives of overthrowing the government in Nigeria and Egypt, stressing that it will take a robust partnership between the 2 countries to exterminate the terrorist groups. Shakray explained that the Egyptian army had been tackling the ISIS terrorists with precision to reduce collateral damage, stressing that the fight against terrorists in Africa must be comprehensive and total. Hundreds of people at the internally displaced people camp in Abuja have called for fresh actions by the new administration on the terrorist group Boko Haram to enable them return home. Many of them who have been found refuge at the camp for close to 6 years complain that the lack of attention by the government to save all the charity or religious groups who donate clothing and food items from time to time. Surrounded by the thick forest, the IDP camp is complete with everything from utility store to market and recreation centers. Most of the camp's residents have been there for more than 6 years since their villages came under attack by Boko Haram sect, while others from surrounding towns have lived here and there for close to 10 years. The extent of the camp for several years is largely unchanged, but the population has grown and the residents wait in anticipation to see what the change in government will translate to in their lives. Former Governor of Adamawa State, Admiral Murtala Yanko, returned to Nigeria on Saturday. The former governor was received at the airport by the former governor of Gombe State, Senator Danjuma Goje, former governor of Zamfara State, Senator Sani Yerima, and his son Abdulaziz, and other political allies. One of his aides, who spoke with our correspondent on condition of anonymity, said Yanko decided to return to Nigeria following the inauguration of Muhammadu Buhari as president. Yanko fled the country following the controversial impeachment by the Adamawa State House of Assembly. His impeachment, which is still contested in court, was said to have been as a result of his disagreement with former President Goodluck Jonathan. The newly elected president of the African Development Bank, Akiwumi Adesina, says his emergence as the AFDB president would not have been possible without the support of the Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari and former President Goodluck Jonathan. This is contained in a statement by Adesina on Sunday, 31st of May, which states, "I would like to give my special thanks to a few people in particular, without whom this success would not have been possible. Former President Goodluck Jonathan and his nominating me, and his confidence and his steadfast, enthusiastic support. President Muhammadu Buhari for his strong endorsement and rallying support for us, and Dr. Ngozi for her vital role and tremendous effort in delivering this successful outcome." He also promised to work hard with all African governments to deliver more inclusive economic growth across the African continent, expressing hope in the prospect of building on the work of his predecessor, Donald Kaberuka, at the AFDB. The former Nigerian Minister of Agriculture was elected on Thursday in Abidjan, the capital of Ivory Coast, where the African Development Bank annual general meeting held. He beat 7 other contenders for the top job. The cherry news came on as Nigeria prepared for the inauguration of President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday, May 29th. The publisher of the Orient daily newspaper, Godwin Ezeemu, on Sunday asked President Muhammadu Buhari not to appoint his cabinet members based on sentiments if he wants to genuinely fight corruption. Ezeemu, who stated this in an interview with journalists in Abuja, explained that the party's leaders with good intentions in the country were usually let down by cabinet members who were only interested in amassing wealth. He noted that Jonathan meant well for the country and would have performed better than if he had appointed the right persons to work with him. The former managing director of the Nigerian Communications Satellite Limited, Timar Saniyu, Ahmed Rufai, has asked the new administration of President Muhammadu Buhari to discontinue with the plan by the federal government to privatize the company. In a statement made available in Abuja on Sunday, Ahmed Rufai said selling the satellite infrastructure to private sector operators would have negative implications on the country's national security. He added that it was also wrong for the federal government to propose the sale of a satellite that was under a lane since the country had not finished paying the company that constructed the spacecraft. Nikomsat workers recently petitioned the former Minister of Communication Technology, Omobola Johnson, over the proposed sale of the company and alleged impending sacking of 150 staffs of the organization. In the petition dated the 5th of May, workers under the aegis of the National Union of Postal and Telecommunication Employees said the manner the proposed sale of the satellite company was being rushed at the terminal end of the last administration left much to be desired. The workers contended that the availability of Nikomsat would not have been an issue if the federal government had directed government establishments to patronize Nikomsat rather than continue to patronize foreign vendors of satellite bandwidth services. You're watching CoreTV News on the Hour. We'll take a short break, and when we return, there'll be more stories for you. Don't go away.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that you'll be consulting.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it is about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power.
In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
Welcome back to the news. For more information, you can reach us on any of our social media platform, and that's on facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow us on our Twitter handle, and that's on @CoreTV News NG for news updates and other programs. You can stream us live on youtube.com/CoreTV Look Spice and the news. In the face of Nigerian oil revenue crisis, Kendo State Governor is set to embark on an aggressive internally generated revenue program backed by the anti-corruption agency that will prosecute corrupt government officials. Addressing journalists on his new master plan, Kendo State Governor Imam said that his administration will be committed to serving the good people of the state. Ganduje said that he will begin with a rigorous drive for internally generated revenue to be able to complete the ongoing project and introduce new ones. In addition, Ganduje will establish an anti-corruption agency to fight anyone who may be involved with any form of corruption. Although Ganduje would have to settle a debt liability of 379 billion naira incurred from the government of Kwakwanso, he was optimistic about his master plan's chances of success, insisting that the huge debt will not stop him from performing. On the security situation, Ganduje said that he would soon set up a security trust fund as part of the step to bring security problems in the state to an end. The trust fund will be charged with the responsibility of sourcing fund to assist various security agencies in the state. And drawing attention to Kendo State, government has ascribed an alleged claim by the All Progressive Congress lawmakers that have not been paid their entitlements as false and dishonesty. The government said in a statement issued on Sunday about the State Commissioner for Finance, Toyin Ujo, that the lawmakers duly acknowledged receipt of checks for the payment last week Wednesday through his office. The government was reacting to a statement supposedly issued by one Wale Olujobi, who claimed to be the lawmaker spokesman, and that the governor, Ayodele Fayose, placed an embargo on the lawmakers' bank's account and did not pay them their entitlements. And to Niger State, where the governor Abubakar Sani Bello has appointed Shehu Dayanya, a retired civil servant and the secretary to the state government. Other appointed are Mikhail Bimisu Sahi, a former member of the House of Representatives and the Chief of Staff, Dr. Ibrahim Duba, a teacher and a columnist with the Daily Trust as the Chief Press Secretary. The governor also named Haruna Maman Bassa as the Director of Protocol and Yusuf Waili as the Senior Special Assistant, Timekeeping and Schedule. These appointments are with immediate effects. Vice President Yemi Osibanjo on Sunday formally took over the leadership of the Villa Chapel located inside the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The chapel, built by the administration of the former President Olusegun Obasanjo, always have the president or vice president, that is a Christian, as the political head, while the president or vice president chaplain is the spiritual head. Former President Goodluck Jonathan would have handed over the chapel to Osibanjo penultimate Sunday when he attended service in the worship center for the last time, but for the vice president's absence. Osibanjo attended service in the chapel for the first time on Sunday, accompanied by his wife, Dolapo Bishop Wale Oke of the Sword of the Spirit Ministry, Senior Pastor Living Waters, Unlimited Church, Pastor Lade Thompson, and other clergymen. The vice president, who himself is a pastor, delivered a goodwill message to the congregation and did a benediction. He later proceeded to the children's church, where he prayed and took photographs with the children, and he also joined by members of his entourage. Sheikh Lawal Adam has now been confirmed as the chief imam of Jos Central Mosque. The session were reached Thursday at the Joint Executive Committee meeting of the Jamaatul Nasri Islam Jos North Local Government Chapter at the Jos Central Mosque Committee held at the boardroom of his secretariat. Sheikh Lawal Adam, who has been the Deputy Chief Imam of the Jos Central Mosque since 2009, replaced the late Chief Imam Zakaria Balaribe Dawood, who died last week after a brief illness. The tussle between the contenders for the seat of Ogoga of Ikere may be heading for the dangerous trend. This is confirmed as a council of princes and princesses and kingmakers and now at loggerheads. The conglomeration of Omowas, says the selected candidate of the Kingmakers is not a prince, while the Kingmakers accuse the Omowas of mischief, making the situation led to name-calling and mudslinging. Meanwhile, the Oba's market in Ikere has been under lock and key since the demise of the former Ogoga last August. Our correspondent Rashid has more.
Ikere Ekiti, the second largest town in Ekiti State, is no doubt a strategic point in the state, also being a one-town local government. But since the demise of the last Ogoga of Ikere or Badegboye Akayejo last August, there has been intensifying bids by princes of various ruling houses to occupy the vacant stool. But in the recent, the hitherto private process is becoming public issue, with the stakeholders sharply divided. The Council of Princes and Princesses, alongside representatives of the three ruling houses, at a joint briefing rejected the selection of one Jimiadu, saying he is not a prince. But this was dismissed by James Ogunlade, secretary of the Ogbenote ruling family.
Surprisingly, falsely claimed to be a member of the Ogbenote ruling houses, whereas he has no link with the Ogbenote ruling houses, and neither is he a prince.
Gabriel Adu, father to Jimiadu, was once a family head, say around 70s. The father is a freeborn of Ogbenote ruling house.
The Omowas also accused the Kingmakers of handpicking Jimiadu, but the Kingmakers say they have done the right thing as directed by the Ifa Oracle.
Rather than for the Kingmakers to consult the Ifa Oracle as required by the tradition, native law and custom of Ikere Ekiti on the Ogoga chieftaincy title, they came up with a piece of paper containing 40 Kingmakers out of the 21 traditional Kingmakers in Ikere Ekiti.
Voted, if I spoke, we wrote everything. The chairman, the secretary of the local government was there, and we packed everything, sent to Ado.
As the Omowas accuse the Kingmakers of bribery, the Kingmakers insist they have chosen the right candidate, stressing that the supported candidate of the Omowas, Benga Ruleba, does not even enjoy the backing of his father.
A transparent selection and appointment of a new Ogoga because of peace and progress, and in order to avert any violence, anarchy, and chaos.
Bribery is general. They will say, if you are here now, they will say, I bribe you. The father of the man came with somebody else. Somebody else came, the sole father came with somebody else.
As the battle for Ogoga still rages on, the residents of Ikere appears to bear the brunt, especially those having shops at the Oba's market, which must be closed upon the death of the king and to be opened only at the coronation of another. How long the shops will remain closed, only time will tell. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ikere Ekiti.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is set to arraign 6 top executives of the Central Bank of Nigeria implicated in mega scam involving the theft and recirculation of defaced and mutilated currencies. The EFCC said in a statement that the suspects are to be docked before the Federal High Court sitting in Ibadan, Oyo State, from Tuesday, the 2nd of June to Thursday, June 4th, 2015. They include Patience Eye, Abuja, Afolabi Olufemi, Lagos, Kolawole Babalola, Ibadan, Nero Adiola, Ibadan, Fatai Adekunle, Head Security, CBN, Ibadan, and Ilorin Sunday, Akure. And outside Nigeria, legal authority for U.S. spies agency to collect Americans' phone data has expired after the Senate failed to reach a deal. The Republican presidential hopeful Rand Paul blocked a Patriot Act extension and it's lapsed at midnight. That's 14 GMT. However, the Senate did vote to advance the White House-backed Freedom Act, so a new form of data collection is likely to be approved in the incoming days. The Freedom Act imposed more controls after revelations by Edward Snowden, the former National Security Agency contractor, first exposed the extent of the data collection in 2013. And that's the much we can take for this hour. To join us at 3 for more. I am Osibanjo, and thank you very much indeed for watching.